Right, we just finished looking at the for loop as if you're coming from a more traditional language. Now what happens though is that remember that a for loop is to do something many times. How many times? Well, have a variable, could be I, could be Fluffy, whatever name you want to give it to the variable. Have this variable take this value from the list, then the next, then the next, then the next, and the next. And when it exhausts the list, when it's taken all the values from the list, that's when you're looping, when your repetitions stop. Okay, so in this case, because we build with this instruction range 0, 10, we build a list of 10 elements, this for loop will do something 10 times. Okay, but the key thing here to remember is it's going to do it 10 times because I is going to be taking values from this list, and this list has 10 elements. What if we had another list? So for example, let's take a look at this. I'm going to use the Python shell again, and let's take a look at this. What if I do for, and then I'm not going to use the letter I, but I'm going to say for a word in, and I can build a list of things. So range 0, 10 is a quick way to build a list with numbers from 0 to 9. But I can build the list manually, and I just type them. So for example, not for word, for odd, I'm sorry, even, in, and then I'm going to put even numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. Okay? For the list of even numbers, I am going to, 1, 2, 3 spaces, 4 spaces, I'm going to say, for example, print the number even divided by 2. Okay? And then I run it. What this is saying is that the variable even, I named it even, I could have named it anything. The variable even will first take the value 2 in the first iteration, and then I will print even divided by 2, which is 2 divided by 2 is 1. That's my first printout, 1. The next iteration, the variable even, is going to take on the value 4. So then when I say print even divided by 2, it will print 4 divided by 2. That gives me the value 2. The third iteration, the variable even is going to take the value 6. And when I print even divided by 2, I'm going to print 6 divided by 2, which is 3. And so on and so forth. When does the loop end? When even becomes 20, and I print 20 divided by 2, which is 10. And that's when it ends because even cannot take a next element. And this is very explicit, it's very mathematical, if you wish. In math, this is the way you say things. But to understand this, for even, we can say for each element even in, or for each element in this list that I will call even, do this. So for each one of the elements, pick one, put it into a variable, a drawer named even, and then do whatever instructions come after. If I want to have more than one thing done in this for loop, I could do the following. I could write for even in the same thing, and then 1, 2, 3, print even, and then I'm going to also print even divided by 2. Print even divided by 2. So I'm going to print the number and then the number divided by 2. But the most important thing to note here is this. All the things that I want to be executed inside this for loop, okay, have to be indented at the same level. If I put 3 spaces here, then it's 3 spaces for the next instruction and 3 spaces for the next, and so on and so forth. Everything 3 spaces in from this for will be executed at each iteration. So at each iteration I'm going to execute both these things. Okay? So there it is. I print the number 2 and then the number divided by 2. 1. I print the number 4 and then the number divided by 2. 2. At the end I print the number 20 and the number divided by 2, which is 10. So I've been executing these 2 instructions for every iteration. Okay, what does it look like when you don't do it that way, right? When you do, say for example, I have this for loop again for even. I'm gonna print the number. I'm also gonna print the number divided by 2, but then at the end of it all, I'm going to print hello world, because print hello world is not indented inside the for loop. It will print after all the iterations have taken place. Whoops. I did something wrong there. Oops. Let's do it again. Sorry. So I'm going to print even divided by 2. I'm going to print the even number. If I go with the up arrow, I can see the previous things that I've typed. That's the trick I'm using to type so fast. And then here, after this, whoops, push too many enters. But if you type the print hello world under here, that should just print, that should print hello world in the end, mostly from a file. So let's see this in a file. Remember the video about files versus shells. So we're going to now type this in a file, because we've been typing it so many times that it can be pretty tiring. So I'm going to do for even in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 18, 20, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, print even, and then the next line I'm going to print even divided by 2, and then here outside of the for loop I'm going to print hello world. Okay, that's my program. I'm going to save it. I just saved it, and I saved it in I saved it in the wrong file. Let me save it as it's very important that you put it in the directory that you're in. So what directory am I in here? I'm going to quit the shell. I am in 4.1. Okay, so 4.1 here. I'm going to name this guy 4.1.py. And to execute a program that I've written in the command line, okay, I have to do Python and then the name of the program, 4.1.py. And then what it did is it printed the exact same thing as before, the even number and the division by 2, and at the end it printed hello world. So I can do a lot of things here. Now that's not all, and I want to do one last thing. What if I were to have, for example, instead of for even, if I do for take a number of a variable dub in hello, the number 4. The list you can have a list of many things, whatever you want. Number 4, then the word CEO, then the word news, then the number 5, for example. And for each one of these things, you print dub, or dub. That's the name of the variable. Okay, that's all we're going to do. I saved it, and then I will run Python, again, running my program again. Look at this. It prints hello, it prints 4, it prints CEO, it prints news, and it prints the number 5. So this is not just to loop through numbers, okay? You can loop, and the values that this variable can take are anything that is in the list, and it will stop iterating when it gets to the last value in the list. We're going to see that list can be pretty powerful, and that will come next.